Hello everybody, welcome back to the video. In this video, just going to do a quick breakdown of the main card of UFC Fight Night, Johnny Walker versus Magomed Ankalaev. Honestly, not the worst fight night. I don't like Apex events. I think this would have been better if it wasn't an Apex event. I'm going to keep saying it. Apex sucks. Just does. This card would have been better. But that's enough me complaining about the venue. We had some cool moments on this card. We also had some pretty shitty moments on this card. Let's get through all of them. Let's start with Andrei Arlovski versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Imagine being a minus 750 favorite, fighting a 44-year-old Andrei Arlovski, a legend of the heavyweight division, legend of the UFC, and emoting during the fight and not getting a finish. And having the audacity to be surprised that Andrei Arlovski doesn't really want to shake your hand. Like, I'm so glad that us as a community realizes that Waldo fucked up here. Did he get the win? Yes. Minus 750 favorite. Couldn't get a finish. Fought like that. Honestly, I don't have any real faith in Waldo. Waldo's not that good. He just isn't. I imagine being spoon-fed a finish and not being able to do it. This reminds me of Almeida versus Derek Lewis on short notice. Only this might have been a bigger disappointment because Almeida we knew was just going to wrestle fuck Derek Lewis. Waldo Cortez maybe could have finished him. I believe he could. He was connecting. Couldn't finish him. Honestly, yeah, no. This was probably my least favorite fight of the entire card. At least the main card. This was the worst. Give Waldo Mohammed Usman. Honestly. Like, let's see who can win there. At least, you know what? I don't even have much faith in him. I want to forget Waldo, honestly. Phil Hawes versus Bruno Ferreira. The Hulk. Okay. Performance of the night bonus. I agree with this. This is a good fight. This was a great fight. Let me actually get that finish for you. So, oh yeah, this fucking guy. Bro. Let's watch this full execution of a finish. Bruno made an interesting call out in his post fight. Doesn't speak any English. That would have helped his career a little bit here. He called out Saraputin Magomedov, the crazy kickboxer who fought Bruno Silva in his debut. That is an interesting fight. Saraputin has all the hype in the world, despite really not really doing anything. I understand maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh on the guy, but Saraputin had steam coming into the UFC. He had the Abu Dhabi crew going in the post-fight press conference trying to get Dana White to admit that Saraputin is the future of the sport. No, he's a one-dimensional kickboxer that is severely, small for middleweight. I would have more faith in Saraputin if he was down at welterweight. I genuinely don't get it, because by the time that Saraputin makes it up to the top 10, the top 5, that's when you're going to have people like Bo Nickel, Hamzat, people like that are going to be dominating that division. Saraputin can't wrestle. I think him versus Bruno is a fun fight. I think you might be able to make a main event out of that. Is it weak? Yes, but Saraputin is rumored to be the headliner of UFC Saudi Arabia. Honestly, why not? Do it. I don't know who else you would put him up against that I would have faith in him winning. But Bruno Ferreira, great performance, deserved performance of the night. However, correct me in the comment section if I'm mistaken here. Our next fight, Ricky Simon versus Mario Bautista, this should have been a fight of the night. Maybe it was given a fight of the night in the post-fight press conference that I didn't see. But why is everything else getting a performance of the night, but this doesn't get fight of the night? This was in scrap. Honestly, probably my favorite fight on the entire card. Don't get me wrong, Jim Miller versus Gabriel Benitez had some good moments. Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker had some good moments, especially that first round. This was a war. I'm very excited to see more of Mario Bautista. I'm actually getting more hype out of this. This really should have been a fight of the night. I don't understand it. If you haven't seen it, bro, just go on ESPN Plus, watch this fight. There's not a whole lot I can really talk about outside of the fight being a barn burner. Bautista didn't say anything particularly interesting, kind of just had the basic, thank you everybody for showing up, despite this being in the Apex. I have championship aspirations, yeah. Not a lot being said. It wasn't the worst post-fight speech I've heard, but, you know, nothing special. Next up, Jim Miller versus Gabriel Benitez. Okay. Listen, I'm not going to say anything too mean. But, where are they finding the people that Jim Miller is fighting? Don't get me wrong. Jim Miller, legend. Put him in the Hall of Fame of the UFC just for fighting as long as he is. Most wins in UFC history. Like, I'm in the group that wants him to be put in the Hall of Fame. However, Gabriel Benitez looks like a substitute teacher. There's just no other way to say it. I like Jim Miller. Jim Miller had one of the better call-outs of the card. And call-out, that's a big thing. As a fighter, you have a chance to choose what your next opponent is. That's not a thing in any other sport. And I hate when fighters do the Magomed Ankalaev. We'll get to that in a second. But Jim Miller made some interesting call-outs. He made a joke about Brock Lesnar. You know, like Anthony Smith believes Jim Miller would beat Brock Lesnar. CTE is getting to the man. Please save that man. But he called out Paul Felder. I think that's the fight to make. If you don't know, Jim Miller wants to have his final fight in UFC 300. Paul Felder's coming out of retirement, and his return is targeted around UFC 300. It's either the month before or the month of UFC 300. Paul Felder says he has a race around that time. I don't care. I don't care about your race. I don't care about your triathlon. If they call you to fight on UFC 300 against Jim Miller, you fight Jim Miller. That's a good fight. Good retirement fight for both of them. I know Paul Felder's just coming back to get retired. It is what it is. Who else are you going to put Jim Miller up against? Like, genuinely. He said Matt Brown. I'm not interested in that. I want to see Jim Miller versus Paul Felder. Put Tony Ferguson on that card. Make him fight Clay Guida. Honestly. That's where we're at in lightweight right now for these veterans of the sport that are just too late to retirement. Jim Miller has the opportunity to probably get one of the better endings in the sport. So why not? Jim Miller, Paul Felder, UFC 300, prelims, book it. And to our main event, Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. A lot of people are going to say, I'm mad about this. I figured he was going to win this fight. Let me get to that finish. Nope. This was not a bad finish. Oh, am I not going to be able to get it? Oh, breaks his nose. Magomed Ankalaev wins via TKO second round. Good fight, honestly. I'm going to give some respect to Magomed here. He didn't try to take down Johnny Walker the entirety of the fight. He wanted to have a striking match with the guy. In my opinion, this kind of performance redeems him in my eyes for the last Johnny Walker fight that really should have been ruled a loss. I don't know why we ruled that a no contest when Petr Yan loses his belt, ruins his legacy, when he does the very same thing. A cheat is a cheat. It is what it is. But Abu Dhabi, the judges in Abu Dhabi are crazy, dude. But enough of that. Magomed Ankalaev beats Johnny Walker. I don't want to say spectacular fight. Good fight. Fun first round. A lot of people were saying Johnny Walker looked good in the first and then he looked like cell-socked in the second fight. Bro, Magomed was landing some good leg kicks. Like, he was doing pretty good. My thought was the movement of Johnny Walker was hindered by the leg kicks. Magomed was also checking. He learned from that Yan fight. My mind is the movement of Johnny Walker was compromised after the first round. And Johnny Walker has to be aware that he is the chinniest fighter in the light heavyweight division. I'm not going to hold that against Magomed because we've known this since after the Jamal Hill fight. We've known he's been chinny. And Magomed Ankalaev found that chin. Wasn't a clean connection, though. I wish that we could see it more. Wasn't a clean connection. Puts him down. One more punch to follow it up. Ends the fight. Now, let's talk about this post-fight call-out. Magomed Ankalaev, somebody on your team needs to help you out. You had the best opportunity you've ever had to make a case for yourself in the post-fight call-out for your chance to fight Alex Pereira next. Let's really look at this right now. Jamal Hill has a ruptured Achilles. The only reason I can see why they haven't announced Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira is it's not looking like he'll be able to make UFC 300. They want Pereira to fight on 300 to help out that card. You can make that turnaround. You don't look injured right now. You didn't really take any damage in that fight aside from some bruising on your legs. Go straight into a training camp. You should have said in the post-fight call-out, hey, Alex Pereira needs a fight for UFC 300. I'm going to throw my name in there. Alex Pereira can't wrestle. Jamal Hill can't make it. Ruptured his Achilles. Let me do this. You've earned a title shot. You beat this number one contender. This is your third number one contenders match, and this is one where you finally had a good performance. Let's do Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev, but because you really didn't make a good case for yourself, I can see them doing something crazy where, hey, let's take Israel Adesanya, have him fight on this card against Alex Pereira, or they'll just make Pereira skip out on UFC 100 entirely and force him against Jamal Hill in like International Fight Week, probably as the co-main to Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. Like that's what I believe is going to happen now because of this. And honestly, I think the next time Magomed is going to be fighting is on Abu Dhabi. This is the problem that we're having now. I think that's going to be it for my breakdown of this fight. I would say probably a good 7 out of 10 for a first fight night of the year. This is probably a good 8. The first fight night of the year is usually pretty rocky. I have to knock down 1 point because of the Apex, so I'm going to say 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 card. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. What was your favorite moment of the card? Put in the comment section. And with that out of the way, thank you for watching. Adios, guys.